Okay, the interaction of two genes. Now, this one is quite complex. I'm simply going to post a Punnett square for this one because this one has 16 squares. I'll just put what the possibilities. So if there's two genes that are interacting to make a trait, if there's two genes interacting to make a trait, we have quite a large Punnett square. Okay? Quite a large Punnett square. Because there's so many different possibilities. So you can imagine when there's a trait that is involving many genes, you will get lots and lots of possibilities. Okay? Now remember, the parents are heterozygous for every trait. Okay? So the parents each have, they each have big A, big B, little b. Okay? So we're going to cross a big A by a, big B, little b. This is not sex-linked or anything. And so when we cross this combination, we get a very complex Punnett square. Okay? And like I said, I will post that onto Canvas. Okay? So if you have parents that have one of each, when these sort into, I shouldn't have drawn it quite like this, when these sort into sperm and egg, okay, in every sperm and in every egg, there has to be one A and one B. Okay, so when this, when we get the spermatogenesis or oogenesis, when the sperm and the egg are formed, every single sperm or egg, so let's make the eggs, has one A and one B. And so you get lots of combinations. Okay? Remember, when the sorting takes place, you have to have one of each type in the egg cell and one of each type in the sperm cell. If these two meet, you get this. And if these two meet, you get this, and so on down the line. Okay? Let's just do this one here. Let's say these, whoops, that's a mistake. Okay. Let's say that these two guys meet. Okay. This will be a very unique genotype. This will be a very unique look compared to the rest. Now, let's just say these two meet. So we've got a big A, little b. And let's say that these two meet, and we've got a little a, little a. Now, as it shows you in the lab, that this is interaction of two genes. If there's a big A and a big B, it doesn't matter if the next letter is big A or big B or little b. This will look one way. Okay? If there's a big A, and it can either be a big A or a little a next, and a little b, this is going to look another way. Little a, big B, and then that line is there because it could either be a big B or a little b. That's going to look another way. And what we end up with when you do this whole square, if you look like this one, and this one, these all four have the same look because they have that dominant gene. When you do all the squares, and like I said, I will put a square up on Canvas, what you end up with is a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 ratio. You end up with a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 ratio. And I feel like I can just do that right now just to get it over with. So let's just do this, and we will continue, and we'll see that ratio. I want to show you the actual ratio. So much for saving time here. I'm going to go through the whole thing. Maybe I'll make a mistake, hopefully not. I'll know when I try to do the ratios if I made a mistake. Okay, so let's find the 9. The 9 that are going to look the same, they all have a big A and a big B. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. This one is big A, big B. We put the line there because it doesn't matter if the next letter is a big A or little a. It's going to look the same. Okay? Let's do the 3. Let's call that the little b, little b. So we should have 3 that have the little b, little b. So that one is big A, underline, little b, little b. Okay, guess what this one is? This one has the little a, whoops, put it down here, little a, big B, underline, because it doesn't matter if that's a B or a B. And then this is that one. So when you have a trait where there's 2 genes interacting, the chance of getting the total recessive gene is 1 out of 16. Okay? That's why it's so rare. Like if there's a trait like this, it could show up in the family anywhere, and everyone's like, where'd this kid come from? Well, somewhere along the line there's these recessive genes, and it just so happened that this sperm and this egg met, made this combination, and we get that. Now, blood typing is a lot different, and it's not a lot different, it's a little bit different. We're going to go over that. That will be one of your assignments. We're going to look at blood typing, which is a little bit different. Our last pattern of inheritance, called polygenic. If the trait is polygenic, what you're going to see is a bell curve. Height is a polygenic trait because, like I said, if you took 100 adult males or 100 adult females and lined them up, what you would get is a couple outliers, a couple of shorter people, a couple of taller people, but in the middle would be the majority. So if there's a trait where the data shows a bell curve, you are going to know that's polygenic. All right? So that's the lab. Now we have to get our data so that you can match the trait with the, I'm going to match the trait with the pattern of inheritance. Okay? So let's look at the data. Let's look at our data table. We're going to find the 6 traits. I'm going to help you find the 6 traits. And let's start out with hair. Okay, so we're going to look at hair. And what we have to do is find all the different combinations of hair. So we have to put all the bald people in one pile. Okay, all the wavy-haired people or blockheads in another pile, the curly-headed blockheads in another pile, and then the straight hair in another pile. Okay, so we've got bald, straight, curly, and wavy. Okay, so all we're doing right now is we are getting our data. Okay, we're getting our data. We're putting them in piles based on their trait. This is the straight hair, here's some wavy hair, here's some curly hair, curly, curly. Okay, straight, Here's another bald. Here's a curly. You can see we have a lot of curly-headed children. Okay, we have a lot of curly-headed children. Another bald one, another curly. So we are gathering data. This is the data we're going to work with to figure out what pattern of inheritance goes with each trait. Okay, we can see that this pile's getting very big. I'm going to make a second pile. I'm not going to push my luck. We'll count them up. Okay, so for hair, we have, and again, our ratios are not going to be perfect. They should be close, but they're not going to be perfect. So we have bald. Okay, so let's make our bald person. Okay, this one is bald. And how many bald? We have 4 bald. Okay, we have straight hair. Okay, how many straight hair? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay, we have wavy hair. It looks like we have 1 less, so we have 8 wavy hair. 8, and then we have lots and lots of these guys. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's make piles of 10. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. And there's another pile of 10. So we have 20, 2, 4, 6, 7. 27 with curly hair. This is our data right here. This is our data. We need to figure out if hair is inherited by simple autosomal recessive, or incomplete dominance, or codominance, or sex-linked dominant recessive, or interaction of 2 genes, or polygenic. We have to figure out which pattern of inheritance goes with hair. Okay? Let's look at another trait. Let's look at ears. Okay, let's look at the ears. We have ears that look like J's. We have ears that look like C's, and we have ears that are like a bracket. Okay, so let's put the J's together. That one's like a bracket. We're looking at the ears. We've got J's. We've got these guys. So now we have to get all this data here. Here are the J's over here. J, bracket. Okay. J, J, J. Okay, so now we're gathering our data. Okay, we're gathering our data. Let's draw our phenotypes for ears. We've got ears that look like a J. We've got ears that look like a bracket, and we've got ears that look like a C. Okay, so now, again, you would be having this fun doing this, but unfortunately, we've got to do it this way because of COVID. Okay, so let's just see. And instead of belaboring that and going through it all, let's see. We have 35, 44, we have 48. I'm going to see if I have the data all figured out for these traits. I have a couple of the traits, but I don't have, oh yeah, I do have this one. Okay, so in the end, what we're going to end up with is 12 like this, and 12 like this, and 24 like so. Okay, so that's the ears. All right. Let's look at the mouths. Okay, what kind of mouths do they have? We can see that some of them have a full set of teeth. Some of them only have bottom teeth. And some of them only have top teeth. Okay? So we're going to write down our trait is the mouth. And we've got some that have teeth up and down. Okay. We have some that just have the bottom teeth. And we have some that just have the top teeth. All right. And instead of taking and piling those all up, I'm just going to give you the numbers on the teeth. Lo and behold, we have a 12, 12, and a 24. Okay, so that's for the mouth. Right, the next trait we're going to look at, let's look at the eyes. Okay. Remember, we have 6 patterns of inheritance, and that is what you need to figure out. What is the pattern of inheritance? Okay. Let's look at the eyes. We're going to look at eyes next. Okay. And we've got the triangles that face up, and we've got the triangles that face down. Okay. So if we were going to take the time to put all that together, what we would come up with for data in the eyes, we've got this type of triangle. There's 36 of those. And we've got this type of triangle. There's 12 of those. Okay? We've only got 2 more traits to go. So why don't we look at number of eyelashes? You can see this one has 1 eyelash, 2 eyelashes, 3 eyelashes, 4 eyelashes. Let's see if there's one more phenotype that we have with the number of eyelashes. And it may be, oh, there's some people with no eyelashes. Okay. So for eyelashes, we have, some have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 eyelashes. Okay. Do you see that? I should have put those up. We'll put the numbers above them. Okay. How many have 0 eyelashes? Let us look. We have, for 0 eyelashes, we have 2. So 2 have 0 eyelashes. 1 eyelash, we have 12. 2 eyelashes, we have 22. 3 eyelashes, we have 10. And 4 eyelashes, we have 2. Okay, so this is our data for eyelashes. You need to figure out which pattern of inheritance goes along with eyelashes. Remember, we have 6 patterns of inheritance. We have 6 traits. The last is the eyebrows. Okay, so let's look at the eyebrows. We have rounded eyebrows on females, and we have rounded eyebrows on males. And then we also have these eyebrows that point upwards. These are rounded on males, and these are rounded on males, and these are rounded on females. And we could go through this whole thing, and if we did that, we would discover that the only ones who have the triangular eyelashes are male. Okay? So let's go with eyelash, or eyebrow, I'm sorry, eyebrow. Right. We've got rounded, and then we have pointy. And we're going to note that the pointy is only found in males. Okay? The pointy is only found in males. So what we are seeing in this case is we have, this is going to be females. Okay? These are going to be females. We have 24 females with rounded. we have 12 males. Actually, I'm going to write the name, female. And we also have 12 males with the pointy. Now, the only thing you need to figure out, what is the pattern of inheritance for each of these? What is the pattern of inheritance? And for the justification, you are going to put the Punnett square, or you are going to put a graph. For the polygenic, you can't do a Punnett square. You're going to just have a graph. For codominance, simple dominant recessive, incomplete dominance, for all those, you're going to have a Punnett square. And then each part of the Punnett square, you are going to write the genotype that goes along with that specific phenotype. Okay? Let's just pretend eyes is not incomplete dominance, but let's pretend it is. Okay? So if it was incomplete dominance, then this would be the little a, and this would be the big A, and big A, little a. But it's not. What I'm saying is anything that's in a Punnett square, and just like the first page shows you, we have already told you what the different genotypes are. Any genotype that's in a Punnett square, you need to assign that to a certain phenotype. Okay? This will take a little bit of work. Now you're going to be doing this in a group. I want you to use your group. Remember, I've set up a Zoom room that at any time you can all go to the Zoom room and join. And that's there kind of as a workspace, or you can do FaceTime, or you can do whatever, okay, however you want to get together. But work together, because it's a lot easier if you work together than if you don't work with someone else. One of the patterns of inheritance, the justification, is going to be a graph. That's the one with the bell curve. That one should be pretty obvious to you when you look at the data. I suggest you think about those ratios, and you look at the data and which ratios go with which data. Okay, remember, some were a 1 to 2 to 1. Some were a 3 to 1. This one, a 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. That means this one has 4 phenotypes, 4 looks, and those looks are approximately 9 to 3 to 3 to 1 ratio. Look at the numbers. Discuss. Once you've done that, your very last thing you need to do is to draw the parents. What did the parents look like? Well, you're going to have all that information already. The parents were heterozygous for every trait. Okay? So if the heterozygous condition for, let's say, eyes is eyes pointing up, that's how the parents' eyes are going to look. If the heterozygous condition for ears was the C's, that's how the ears are going to look. If the heterozygous condition for the mouth was just top teeth, that's how the parents are going to look. Once you've gone through everything, you are going to then draw the parents. What did they look like? Okay? That's the entire lab. It is going to be a challenge, but you're going to really enjoy it. You're going to learn a lot about genetics as you go through the lab. So remember, each of these phenotypes that we drew here, each one must have a genotype associated with it. Where are you going to get those genotypes? You're going to get them from the Punnett squares. How do you know how to make the Punnett square? Well, I made most of them in class, but again, you can refer to this front page, which shows you which letters to use. Don't think you have to make up your own letters. It's just going to complicate things. Okay? And again, one pattern of inheritance is just a graph. Do that one first. Just make your graph. On the x-axis is going to be the number of blockheads with this characteristic, and the y is going to be On the x-axis is going to be the phenotype, y is going to be the number of blockheads. You should end up with a bell curve. Okay? All right. Have fun. This is a great lab. I know it'll be a challenge for a minute or two, but once you catch on, you're really going to enjoy doing it.